Hello friends, if you are a wellness advocate or enthusiast like us perhaps, or you're just interested in improving your overall health, this episode is definitely for you. Today I'm sitting down with my dear friend who is a licensed massage therapist, a doula, a healer, a mother of three. What else can I say? She's been practicing healing for over 20 years. Her company is Roots and Remedy. I'm so happy to have you. Welcome, Teresa.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. This is so excited because I'm so passionate about wellness and healing, and I view you as like that quintessential healer, force of guidance in my life. I know you've helped me so much. Could you explain to people a little bit more about the modalities that you offer in your practice?
So I practice the pranic healing, which is just energetic work and cleansing the body's aura and the chakras, getting the balance energetically. Getting the body balanced energetically, and also using the physical touch through the massage therapy techniques and the practices to get to the root of any discomfort in the physical body. And then I also use traditional ways and tools to also provide a deeper healing of the spirit, of the soul. Sometimes just doing a little smudge with some sage or some Palo Santo can really allow the body to relax and release other things that it holds on to on an energetic level. And so, those are kind of the basic things. Other tools that I use is the rebozo that I have here, just a beautiful cloth. And this I use to do like stretching with the body and just do a little bit more movement of the joints and whatnot.
I'm going to hold this up for the people that are watching so they can see. This is really beautiful, but more than its aesthetics, it feels amazing. I know what you're talking about. Because you've used this on me, right?
Yes.
Right? Oh man, it feels amazing. So let's talk about the pranic healing for a second, or AKA energy. What is it exactly, for those who are wondering if they see pranic healer and they're like, what is that exactly? It sounds like it's familiar, but I'm not sure. How does it affect our body to heal energetically?
So a lot of people probably have heard prana, which is life force energy, right? So pranic is basically a non-touch healing system that is based on our innate ability to heal on its own. We are our own first healers, and so pranic healing is just uses certain motions, and sometimes we use crystals as a tool, color therapy as another tool, but basically it's just allowing our body to release anything that we are picking up at work, the stress, certain thoughts that, and people, that share certain things with us are all connecting. And so pranic healing just basically cleanses, and cuts anything that doesn't serve you and you shouldn't bring home into your space, right?
I'm getting more relaxed by the minute just talking about it. I know when you do the spiritual cleansing on me, I remember in the past I've just been like, girl, you just do whatever you think. I'm sure I need it all. You just do whatever you think I need. How do I phrase this? How much of it comes from the feedback that someone gives you, and how much of it do you intuitively feel? Like when you're healing someone, do they need to tell you, in other words, I have this, this, and this going on, or can you just feel it and then just kind of cleanse, you know what I mean, and heal them energetically with using the no touch? Do you need them to say what they need?
I think as a healer, the most important part is the plática, which is the talk. You always want to, as a healer, of course, hear what the client has to say. Reading their body language also is another form of paying attention to what their body may need. For me, yes, I use my intuitiveness and what I'm guided to do. But I find that a lot of people are really more in the mental, up here in the chakras, so a lot more even here in the solar plexus area, because we carry not just the stress, but other emotions. So I basically just follow what my guides are telling me, but I do an overall general basic cleanse on everybody, but I may have to go back depending on what I'm picking up or depending on what they have shared with me to do a little bit more of a deeper, in-depth cleanse on certain chakra areas and parts of the body, not just the chakras, but areas of the body that may be congested.
So let's say someone has, because I'm sure there's lots of different levels of people of healing, right? Some people just need a tune-up, where some people are just like all broken and really need to be put back together again. So just out of sheer curiosity, is there any type of progressive effect that these spiritual healing practices can have? In other words, if you did it once a week for a month, would it be more powerful? Would it carry more weight than just doing it once? Or can you get what you need from one healing session?
Well, I think on a more regular basis, of course, you're going to gain the benefits, right? Unless you learn the practices and tools yourself, then you are definitely going to benefit you and your family members. You can learn, just like I learned, ways to help others and yourself. But I definitely think if you don't want to learn those practices and tools, then yes, come to a healer, come to, a traditional healer or pranic healer. Depending on what areas of your life or what areas you want to heal or cleanse. But yes, I definitely think practicing more of those self-care treatments with another healer is going to be on a more
deeper,
Yes.
like deeper results, kind of, if you do it more than once.
Yes.
Maybe, yes.
Yes.
So, wow, it's totally fascinating me, and I 100% believe in it because of how everything is connected. So these are things that you could share and teach your clients too, right? To do, like, some things they could do for themselves, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. Speaking about, I want to talk about energetic hygiene for a moment. What are some different forms of energetic hygiene? Like, what does it mean, and what are some different forms?
So basically, you're picking up, every person that goes through life is either going to be picking up something emotionally, physically, mentally, whenever they're coming across whoever it is, right? And so by coming into those interactions with others, we are, an invisible cord is being connected, right, energetically. So we're attaching ourselves to not just the objects, but the people around us. And so that means that those attachments emotionally, etc., are still draining us in a sense, like our energy. And so if you aren't conscious of clearing those things, and some great energetic hygiene tools that I use is spritzing. So I'll use my little energetic spritzers.
Oh, spritz.
Yes. So this is one way to...
Smells amazing. It smells like Christmas, first of all, but it smells amazing.
And everybody can make their own. You can add whatever essential oils you want.
Love it.
It's just either rubbing alcohol or just straight up vodka, and then adding your little tinctures of oils to make your own little protection bottle. But that cleanses energetically. Also, if you're going to go into a big group, a big crowd, you also want to spritz yourself to protect yourself. So just kind of like putting on a shield, setting that intention to shield yourself before you go out, into a big group setting.
I love that.
But then also when you come home, like I said, you want to bathe in salt. Just using a simple salt, table salt, doesn't have to be anything special, on your cloth or whatever you scrub with. And it's like an exfoliant as well for the skin, but it's definitely, salt is used to cleanse and take away anything that we are bringing in on a more energetic level, right? Another beautiful one that is my favorite is just using sage. So like a sage stick. a Palo Santo stick, just lighting that up, cleansing your body, and then your home. If you feel like you brought something into the house, then your house is congested with those dirty energies. So you definitely want to cleanse your environment, just like you cleanse your body, and just like you disconnect from the computer and your phone, you want to disconnect from people that you are around.
Girl, you are speaking my language. I spritz myself in the face every day. I take a salt bath almost every night. I mean, I really believe in these things. The thing is that in the Western culture, we get so used to things having to be so complex, and you have to see a doctor and for everything, that we just kind of forget about these really natural simplicities in life that are natural healers. And I love the spritz because it's like this awesome aromatherapy. You can do relaxing. I remember when I went to the dentist and had to get a tooth pulled, no fun. I remember putting some essential oil on my wrist, and literally I was just smelling it beforehand, and it really did have a calming effect. So I really believe in stuff like this. Every time I get a massage, everybody's like, take a bath in salts and add a little apple cider vinegar because it draws out the toxins. And now you're also telling me, in addition to that, it helps you emotionally cleanse, which is like, wow, we get this is like a double benefit now, right? Yeah. And then the sage, I also learned about, is it that it kills 98 or 99% of the bacteria in the air? Something crazy like that I read about sage. So additionally to the emotional support, it's actually doing something else, what I mean? Yeah. Like to help you in a health sense. So those are amazing tips. I love those. I know you have some more, and so we'll definitely add those to the bottom of the podcast when we're done, so we can make sure everyone can learn about all of those wonderful tips you have. I wanted to move on to a different topic really quickly because people are sick. It's like sick nation out there, let me tell you. Whether it's stress-induced, environmentally induced, dietarily induced, however you want to say it. So what are some things you would recommend people to do to ease the symptoms or prevent diseases? I might have a few to share here, but I definitely want to get your thoughts on this because this is a big one.
So some of the things that I just shared are
like the day-to-day things
right.
You can do.
Day-to-day things,
awesome.
All those you can do. In addition to those, you can also just imagine you have this white glove. Like just imagine you're going to surround this hand with this white light, right? And then what you're going to do is set your intention of disconnecting all cords. So whether it be cords through the person that just spilled their emotional baggage on you, or the stress that your boss gave you for the day and you're just feeling that heaviness, just really setting like I said, your intention that you're just going to disconnect from all of that and just let it go. And just with one swipe, just cut, right? You're just going to imagine like this is like your white sword, and you're just going to want to cut those cords. And just imagine.
So you make a physical movement.
You just sweep right in front of, and what you're doing is basically all of the chakra cords, which is from the crown down to the basic, which is the root, and you're just cutting all those connections from your mental, your ashna, how you connect your solar plexus down to the root, to the basic, right? And that's just one quick sweep and just setting that intention of letting go, right? And you can use words or mantras, whatever it is that you want to incorporate, but it's really just setting that intention of letting everything go that you've brought in, right?
Man, I wish we had had this conversation before. I could have really used that movement a lot in my life.
So it's just energetic hygiene, just like
I love that.
body
hygiene.
That's so awesome. Because it's like, I watched this, I wish I could remember the name, I apologize, this comedian who's also kind of like a wellness guru. I watched him on, I believe it was during the Heal Summit, and he was using an analogy about how, pardon my language, but how we just keep in life like picking up shit and basically like adhering it to our bodies.
Yeah.
And then we're just walking around with a bunch of shit. And so that makes me think of that, you know, it's funny when he says that, but it's so true because we walk around in life and it's really hard, especially I think if you are an empath or if you are a sensitive person or just, you know what I mean, or just kind of live with your heart on your sleeve. It's really easy to absorb those types of energies. So it's like, okay, what are some ways that, one, we can try to prevent the absorption of all those energies that are unwanted? And two, if we do happen to pick those up, what can we do to get rid of them, right?
Right.
So I love that idea of the hygiene and these ways, like these real tangible ways that we can literally, like emotionally and physically release and get rid of them. You were talking about people don't realize how much junk or dirty prana they have on a daily basis, and I think that's what you meant by that, right?
Oh yeah, the things that they pick up out there. And so all these wonderful tips that I'm sharing today are just simple ways that you can just incorporate into your daily routine and really feel a difference. That and I think you're going to go into the meditation, but really just calming the mind, you know, and doing some other forms of healing of the physical body, which is, I think, breath work, which is something else you wanted to talk about.
I do want to talk about those. Since we're talking, let's just jump right in. So meditation, because that is something that people can do every single day. And breath work is also something that people can do every day. And oftentimes they work synergistic with one another. You're doing breath work and meditation. I think sometimes when people hear meditation, they get a little bit lost because they maybe feel insecure, and which is really, it's really, how do I want to describe it? It's a loss for words here, but it's so individual is what I'm trying to say. Like your meditation doesn't belong to anyone else but you. You know what I'm saying? So to feel judged for, you know, that you're not doing your meditation, it just seems counterintuitive. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people are kind of intimidated by the idea, like I'm not doing it right, or how people are always asking, well, how do you do it? So what are some effective ways that you've learned within your practices or with your clients what are some ways that you feel like, how do people start? That's what I'm trying to say. And all my wordiness, how do people start meditating? Like, what are some tips we can give people to just start so that they don't feel like they're not doing something right, and they can really get into that state of, you know, well-being, and we'll expand on meditation later.
Right. I think the hardest part for us as humans is just quieting the mind, right? And so for me, I know when I started meditating, I was, you know, all these thoughts were still coming in, and I was like, I'm not doing this right. But really, if you just need to have a guide, just push play. You know, look up Twin Hearts Meditation is the one that I follow, and it's on the Pranic Healing website. And that basically is the fastest and safest way to flush out any negative energies, and at the same time you're activating your heart chakra and your crown, and you're sending all this love and divine energy to the world and to the people that you love and care most about. And that's just, I just push play, you know, and that's just easier for me because if I sit there and just try to focus on my, you know, breath work, and then all these thoughts start coming in, I feel like I'm not doing it right. So some people can do that. Some people can just sit and start with their breath work and just focus on the air, you know, coming in and coming out, and then bringing their attention back to their breath. That's another way, you know. I know others that use a mantra. You know, there's just a certain, by just doing a repetitive mantra and just staying in those words, just really also calms the mind, and it just allows you to just think about the mantra and not, you know, all the mental and to-do list come in and distract you, right? So those are just 3 simple ways. But like I said, my favorite is the Twin Hearts meditation.
I love that. I love that. And I think that you're right on. I think that is probably a commonality among most people, that as soon as they try to meditate, they are flooded with all these thoughts, which makes the practice, in my opinion, of meditation so special, because we're practicing so that we can get to a place of kind of saying, thanks for the thought, but like, you know, pushing it to the side, because this is our time, our meditation time, to focus on whatever it is that we're wanting to focus on and feel that, right? And set those intentions without those unwanted thoughts that just keep hitting us in the head over and over again. So one thing that really resonated with me recently when I was watching the Heal Summit videos was about breath work, because I know that breath work is included in a lot of different practices, but I never really thought of it as like a standalone practice. I don't know why, I'm super naive. I just was not aware of it. And when I learned a little bit about it, I was just like, this is so awesome, because this is something unlike any other practice, where when you do it, you literally achieve immediate results. So if I'm having an anxiety attack and I do some breath work, or if I'm, you know, in any state, unwanted state, and do some breath work, it doesn't take, there's no progressive effect. I mean, surely there might be, but in this case, I'm just saying, you don't have to do it for 20 minutes before you start feeling the effects of, you know what I mean, the work. You're going to have an immediate sensation of relief, or, you know, you can't help but, if you're doing breath work for, at the very least, and I'm no breath work expert, but I do breathe every day. So, you know, when you do the actual breath work, because we tend to have such shallow breath, which also just compounds upon the anxiety and stuff like that we feel, you know, we get that oxygen back up into our brain. So by doing intense breath work or breathing in 30 times in a row, you might feel a little lightheaded, but that's actually a good thing, because we're actually getting that oxygen circulating again. And I think maybe that's also lends itself to helping with anxiety and stuff, right? Because we're like caving in when we're anxious, and you know what I mean, like our shoulders pull forward, and even doing like little, you know, just since we're on video, I can do my little, you know, my arm is a little hurt, so it's hard for me to stretch right now, but something like this where we're opening up, any exercise where you're opening up your chest when you have anxiety is really good, because we're like caving in down here on our lungs, you know what I mean? So by opening it up and just doing those breathing exercises, it's amazing to me how immediately we can be positively affected. Do you have any thoughts on breath work?
Yes, if you think about it, breathing is signaling the nervous system, right? So anytime you're consciously taking those deep breaths, inhalations, you're activating that nervous system and allowing that oxygen, of course, like you said, to the brain, and just brings you that calm, you know, feeling over you. But it also, breathing allows you to connect to your body, you know? And like you said, when we're you know, slouching or caving in, rounding our shoulders, we are closing our heart center. And so by allowing us to expand this area is also allowing our heart to open. And so
inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, I feel is a really important step in the breathing, because you can inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose, but it doesn't have the same effect, right? And you can inhale and tuck in your, you know, squeeze to the deepest part of your, you know, stomach and muscles. But for me is when you expand, like you're expanding the heart chakra, you're expanding the solar plexus, you're expanding the navel, you know, the stomach. And so when you're inhaling, you just want to let it all like open, right? And then on your exhales, when you can start contracting and squeezing, you know, the muscles. But when you're, like I said, doing it more shallow and on a daily basis, people just don't really focus on the breath. We know we're breathing, but it's not a conscious effort it's not an exercise, right? But when you make it an exercise and really consciously inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, and even just throwing in an essential oil, you know, it's so simple and powerful what an essential oil can do, right? Inhaling that beautiful essential oil, put it on a little paper towel and just stick it up your nose. Who cares, how silly you're gonna look, right? But
I've seen worse.
It's the effect, it's the positive effect that it's gonna do on
Yeah.
the whole systems, on every system. The essential oil, the breath, it's just gonna be overall just healthy for you.